Hey, Justin here with Stay at Home Dad's podcast. Welcome to the show. Welcome to this wonderful place where I talk about the many different things that go on here in my stay-at-home dad life. Things with my kids, my family, how to be a better father and a better husband, men's mental and physical wellness, parenting struggles I have, and some success stories as well. I also talk about parenting and life tips that I have that I come across reading books and articles online and talking with friends. And lastly, just random off-the-wall things that I find interesting or that are in the news or whatever. I come on here and I share with you. So I hope at least one of those things is somewhat interesting and informative and helpful in some way. But anyways, thank you for downloading the show. Thank you for listening and hanging out with me today. All right, so if you hear screaming children in the background of this episode, it's summer break. My kids are home. My kids' friends are here. A lot, which is fine. It's good. They're playing. Hey, they're not inside. They're not plugged into a TV or device. So that's a win. They're pretending. They're screaming outside in the garage. I could hear them just before I started this episode. So yeah, if you hear that, just ignore it. But yeah, my kids' summer break is here. I don't really want to get into it because when I regurgitate this episode in 5 months, it's going to talk about summer break, and it's not going to be summer break anymore. So if I do that, just omit this part. Skip 20 seconds, right? But yeah, so my kids are home. It is, I don't want to say I forget what summer's like everybody says all the time. Last summer, I was kind of apprehensive. Oh my gosh, summer's here, What am I going to do? My kids are going to be around all the time, blah, blah, blah. And last summer went great. It was wonderful. Now this summer, end of school's coming up, summer's here, and I wasn't really having those same thoughts. I was like, oh, yeah, summer's here. My kids get to hang out. My kids get to do stuff with me. We get to go do more things. Maybe that's because my kids are getting older and they're a lot easier to take on activities and take to do things that I want to do. We actually just went golfing a couple of weeks ago before school was out on a weekend, and my oldest daughter, Olivia, she says, hey, golf's not too bad. This might be my sport. I'm not too bad at this. And she had some great shots. Neither one of them complained that day, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's them getting older and they're a little more just go with the flow and not so rigid like kids can be. We all know how kids can be, throwing food and throwing stuff and having meltdowns and all that. So maybe that's why. That's what I'm going to think of anyways. But with that being said, and then being home, I do find it much harder to do my little projects, my little pet projects like I'm doing right now, doing a podcast. I've got videos I need to edit for my YouTube, and I've also started working a little bit for myself. I'm not going to get into a whole lot on that. It hasn't really hit or started or became what I want it to become, so I'm just going through all those hoops and stuff, and I'm doing little side jobs here and there, mainly with a person that I've done side jobs with a year ago, but I was out at her house, I was doing some work for her, and then her friend just happened to show up, and then her friend is asking me about me doing work for her, so what I want to do is there. The work is there, I know it is, and it's just gonna be me staying on top of it, staying motivated, being dedicated to, just keep grinding, just keep pushing and building this to what I want it to be. Because I don't want to go back to work and just work for someone and punch a clock and have someone else get my kids off the bus and have someone watch my kids while I'm still at work and be all checked out in that matter and be gone. I have a rare opportunity here where I'm home, I get to see my kids, I get to grow with my kids, or my kids get to grow with me, I guess, and I don't want to close that chapter. So, yeah, I'm going to do something for myself, or I've started doing something for myself, and I'll be able to choose my hours, and I will be able to pick jobs I want to pick, and hopefully make a decent living, at the same time. So that's what I've been doing, and I hope to get that really rolling here this summer and beyond, right? I mean, that's what we all want. But yeah, those things are kind of cutting in on my slow dad, stay-at-home dad life. Kids are home all the time, so we've done stuff with them, and we're doing more with them, and then this little job I've got just kind of cuts into, hey, Justin's a stay-at-home dad and got nothing going on, and just kick with my feet up and my sweatpants on. So yeah, that's what's been going on. I don't think it's going to affect podcasts that much because I dropped it down to one podcast every other week. So 2 a month. I can't really go less than that. I don't want to go less than that because, I don't know, I enjoy it. So anyways, with all that, long story long, you know what I mean? I found an article and I want to talk about it. And, well, I guess you already know. It's the title of this episode. It is just life hacks. It's little things to make your life easier. And I found it on the chive.com. If you don't know what the Chive is, it's kind of, I don't know. They do charities and stuff, but they post funny things. They have an app. They post funny things. They post jokes. They post products. They post women. They post, bikini chicks sometimes and this and that. They post all that stuff. So think of it however you want. It's kind of a fun place to just peruse around, and you see like funny memes, and you see pretty ladies, and then you see cool products, and on and on and on. So that's where I got this article from. Let me find it here. It's titled Little Helpful Tips and Tricks That People Use on a Daily Basis to Play Life on Easy Mode. That's what it's called. So I'm going to roll through this article, and then I'm going to talk about just a few of my own little life hacks, I guess you could call them, or tips, basic, simple tips to make our lives a little bit easier. So let's just dive right into this. Let's get going here. If you hear my mouse clicking, that's what that was. But anyways, number 1, poster says, I flip my pill bottles upside down after taking them so I remember if I took them or not. It really helps if you take the same pill in the morning and the same pill at night. I don't know. Solid advice, I guess. I don't really have a whole lot of ad-libbing to do on that one. Gives you a visual cue on taking your medicine. That's great. I don't take a lot of medicine, so I don't really have any thoughts on this. I take vitamins. Does that count? But I take my vitamin once a day. So anyways, let's move on. Number 2, don't put it down, put it away. I really like this one. I like it a lot because this is where people get into being a slob, essentially. And I think this carries over into our kids as well. This is a great, simple statement you can tell your children. Hey, don't put it down, put it away. So if kids are playing a game, don't just put it down and let someone else deal with it. Make sure you put the game back in its box and put it back in the closet. If you're playing with Legos, don't put them down, put them away. If you're reading a book, don't put it down, put it away, right? And that same thing goes for adults because adults get into this mess as well. We're slobby people sometimes. I know I am. Using a pen, don't just put it down on the counter. Go put it in the little pen jar in your office. If you're cooking and you use a utensil, wash it and put it away. Maybe that's kind of a dumb example there, but you get what I mean. All right, next one. This person, I don't know if they're men or women. I'm just going to call them people. This next person said, I bought 24 of the same socks and threw all the rest of the mismatched ones out. They chucked them. They say I have a couple of winter socks and that's it. Someone else commented and said, I did this for my kids. 24 pairs of socks, all white, gray, or navy. When he grew out of them, I got 24 more pairs of the same size, same color and everything. It makes it a little easier when you're sorting laundry. If you're dealing with your kids' clothes and socks and your wife's clothes and socks and your own, if your daughter wears nothing but white socks with a blue toe, you know those are all her socks, right? Also, if all the socks are the same and one gets a hole and then say another pair gets a hole, then you can take the other two, put them together. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just self-explanatory, but makes sense to me. So yeah, get the same kind of sock for whoever. I always wear black socks with a gray toe. Sorry, that was my child who came in from playing outside and needed to find a jump rope, so had to step away for a second. All right, so yeah, I wear nothing but black socks with a gray toe or white socks with a gray toe. So my socks, granted my feet are huge, they're very distinguishable from everybody else's. But anyways, That's enough sock talk here. Let's move on. Number 4. Is that 4, right? I stopped doing any kind of work in my dorm room at college and only did it at the library. Not only did I become more productive, but I enjoyed being in my room a lot more. It's way more comfortable and easier to fall asleep when you've taken a 15-minute walk home and then you disengage yourself from your learning environment to your relaxing environment. This is kind of a big deal if you work from home. My wife worked from home when COVID happened and everything was locked down. Initially, we had a little desk. We just put it in our master bedroom just because, we have an office, but it wasn't like an office yet at the time. It was probably another playroom, but we put this desk in our master bedroom. She thought, I could just hop over there, do some work, do whatever, and it would be nice and quiet because the room is separated from the rest of the house. Well, what happened? Well, she started blending, like mentally, the relaxing space and the workspace. So then anytime she was waking up from sleeping, she would immediately be in work mode. Or if she would get ready to go to bed, she would see that desk and see her work computer there and think, I got to check my email real quick. It'd be 10 o'clock at night. I got to check my email. Let me do this. Let me send that. Let me check on this. And it just blended. It was never separated anymore. It was just blended together. And she couldn't really shut off work mode. If you have an office off in the corner of your home or in your basement or wherever, you come out of there and you don't see it, you don't deal with it, nothing. It's just away, right? So it was kind of really hard for her, and she noticed a change when she had that desk in our master bedroom. She said, my sleep is terrible. I can't shut off that part of my brain. So we ended up moving the desk and everything to, we put it somewhere else, either in the basement or in a guest room. And it was a big change with her attitude and her mood when we would get ready to go to sleep and be in the master bedroom. So yeah, that's a big deal. I can see this poster's point. All right, number 5, sleeping with a pillow between my knees equals no more lower back pain. Well, that's great for you. I'm not going to get into sleeping habits or sleeping positions, but great. If it works for you, awesome. Maybe I'll try it. I do have lower back pain. If I sleep on my stomach, then I feel like I'm like arched like a banana, like the wrong way, and my back kills me when I wake up. So maybe I'll do the old pillow thing and give that a try. I don't really have a lot to say on this. I did sleep on one of those memory foam beds. We went to Cincinnati last week, and they had a memory foam mattress in there. And initially you lay on it and you kind of sink into it all slow. And I was like, this is nice. But then when you lay there, you have this permanent indent, and then if you roll to like your side or you move, now that indent takes a while to come out, and then it feels all weird. So, I don't know. Take my experience there. I didn't really like it that much. All right, next one. Person says, I brush my teeth as part of my daughter's bedtime routine. This keeps me from snacking late at night. Since my teeth are already clean and brushed, I don't want to mess that up before I go to bed. They say I've lost about 5 inches from my waist, and it keeps me accountable to brush my teeth early before you get too tired to care. This is a great point. I like this one a lot because if you're a late night snacker, if you're a PM snacker, which a lot of people say you shouldn't be munching on a bunch of food past 8 p.m. or something like that. So you shouldn't be eating 2 hours before you go to bed anyway. So this may be a good way to keep you from doing that. Plus, if you brush your teeth and you want your daughter or your kid to brush their teeth a good amount of time, then you're in there brushing your teeth and kind of coaching them as to how long you should do that activity for. So yeah, it's kind of neat. And if your goal is to lose some weight and stop that snacking, then this is probably the way to go. Next one, my alarm clock is across the room, requiring me to get out of bed to turn it off. Prevents me from falling back asleep. Yeah, this is tried and true. This is a classic. It's something that has been talked about to death probably. It's a good idea. Solid advice here. Makes you get up, shut that buzzer off, and get up with your day. Now, granted, a lot of people are using their phones and using their phones as alarm clocks, so your phone's going to be right next to you, and you're not going to do that. But actually, you shouldn't be sleeping with your phone in your room anyways, because that's a bad habit, A. B, there's like electrical signals and shit when you charge your phone that's not good for your brain or something. And also, you shouldn't be on your screen right before bed like that. And right when you wake up. That's another terrible habit I see a lot of people do. Like the moment they open their eyes, they're looking at their phone. And I think that's just not good. It's not a good practice to be in. Like, why? What do you need to see on there? You wake up at 7 a.m. and at 7:01, like, what are you looking for? Do you need that entertainment? Do you need that engagement from something on that screen? I don't understand that. And I do the same thing. I fall in the same trap sometimes. So, all right, that's enough. Next one. A work from home life hack I adopted was using break time from work to do low mental energy chores. Stuff like dusting furniture, vacuuming, stuff like that. It's a nice break from the mental energy of work, getting out of that work brain, and you're actually getting stuff done. That's kind of a cool, interesting advice right there. I like that one. It doesn't require you to think. So if you're working at home and you're doing a lot of stuff and you're doing conference calls or whatever you work from home people do, when you take your break, then just go do stuff that literally takes very little mental energy. Spray a rag and dust your TV and dust your lamps and sweep your floor, whatever. So yeah, cool. All right, next one. I think I'm on 8 or so. Washing dishes while cooking. Now it's at a point where I just do it because I want a clean kitchen. That's what this person says. I agree with that. When you're busting open cans and using measuring devices and everything else, and you're pouring them into a pot, or you're putting them in your crock pot, or you're frying chicken, or whatever you're doing, have some nice hot water there. Do your dishes as you go. You're still going to have dishes to clean after you eat dinner, but you're not going to have a mountain of shit to do. You're going to have just a few pots and pans and put your plates in the dishwasher and yada yada. So yeah, like it kind of limits what you have to do later by doing it a little earlier, because you always have a little bit of downtime when you're cooking a meal, big meal or small. You can take a couple of minutes, wash that pan real quick, then stir your whatever, and then take another couple of minutes and wash your spatulas off and put them away and stuff like that. So it just kind of, you stay ahead of the mess that way. That's all it is. It's a great habit to be in too. So I know I talk about habits on here occasionally, and that's a good one. All right, next one. This poster says preparing and getting stuff ready the night before. And their example is getting my shoes and putting them by the front door, packing my backpack with all the things that I'll need for that day, getting underwear, shirt, pants out the night before and placing them somewhere to be ready for the following day, and then packing your lunch. Just getting all of that stuff done the night before you need it. No more running around, they say. No more trying to find your keys and find your shoes you want to wear and doing all that, being on a crazy time crunch. Yep, pretty solid advice. Just pre-pack everything and get it handled. I do this sometimes when my kids go to school. It's not always, but sometimes I'll pre-pack their lunches. That saves 10, 15 minutes in the morning of trying to mentally figure out, oh, shoot, what do I want to send to school with my kid to eat? And then you have to take the time to pack it. So yeah, just simple stuff, especially if you're one of those people that hit the snooze on the alarm clock and you don't get up and you just keep kind of procrastinating and then you're really running around. So yeah, maybe if you want to pack all your shit the night before and then take an extra 10-minute snooze before you get up, there you go. All right, next one is I save time each day by masturbating at work. Yeah, I guess that's, I haven't read this article, so this is the first time for me and you, but sure, man, if that's your daily routine and you want to save a few minutes or maybe, I don't know, before you go to work, you want to save that time for something else, then there you go. There is always this funny thing, side note. They say if you take a dump at work every day for 10 minutes for every day, then it's like every, I don't know, it equates to a week paid vacation if you take your dump at work. So it's kind of the same thing. You do your business at work, I guess. That's what this person is saying. Agree or disagree, it's up to you. All right. Next one. List stuff that you need to do. It doesn't matter how minor it is, put it on the list. Then you have two options. Do the easiest ones first and demonstrate to yourself that you've been pointlessly putting it off, or do the most difficult ones first so you get it out of the way and your list becomes easier and easier to finish. Either way, pretty soon the focus of your activities change. You barely even notice that you're doing these tasks anymore. You just remember the payoff when you get to cross another item off your list. I like this one a lot. I know I've been a real proponent of lists on this podcast. I talk about them all the time. Yes, put the most simple thing on your list. I have a current running list it's called Shit to Do on my phone, and it is full. It's got a lot of stuff on it. And you know what some of the stuff is on there? One is cut the grass. I have to cut the grass every week no matter what, but I put it on there. Cut that grass, push that little button, cross it off, put the easy ones on there. Unload the dishwasher, put it on there. You know what I mean? Just a lot of different things. I've got to put some hinges on some cabinets. I put that on there. I've got to do some work on my computer. I put that on there. And I've broke it down into categories. So it's like house list, and then I have all the house things. Fix a hose bib that's leaking outside. Patch concrete in the driveway. Bing, bing, bing. Do all this stuff. Fix a dehumidifier that I don't know how to do, but I'm going to try to figure it out. That's all on that list. And then I have more like personal things for like my pet projects and working on my old truck and things like that. And then I have a whole nother category of other things. And I just try to like chip away at that list or keep adding to it when I have these things that I want to do. It does help when you get to cross off a little gimme. You're like, oh, wash the windows of the house. Cross it off. Vacuum the floor. Cross it off. Whatever it is, it helps. It's like a weird brain thing when you get to cross that off the list. It feels good, and it motivates you to keep going. So there you go. Next one, 13, maybe, something like that. Making my bed and straightening my room every morning. I started this when I was trying to cope with major depression, and it's a good tool, this person says. I 100% agree. If you're getting out of your bed for the day, make your bed. Pick up your room, put your clothes away, put your pajamas away, whatever it is. Just like we tell our kids all the time. Hey, make your bed, put your PJs away, get dressed, put your dirty clothes in your hamper. All that stuff. Because then the rest of the day, I think, when you walk into your bedroom and your bed is made and the floor's all picked up and it looks moderately nice, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel better. And I feel like I've said this before. I think people keep their homes kind of the way their mental state is. Really crazy and really messy and really just disheveled and chaotic. I think their brain is very chaotic, or their life may be very chaotic. So if you can clean up your place in your area, maybe, I don't know if they correlate or not, maybe it equates to a calmer mind. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just my personal opinion. Remember, I'm not a doctor, a scientist, a therapist, or a firefighter. So take my words with a grain of salt, but that's what I think. All right, next one. Having a bedtime routine helps me fall asleep. Otherwise, I'd have trouble. My routine is watching one episode of a funny or happy TV show and then reading on my phone with the screen set at the dimmest setting. Works like a charm. Yeah, I think having a routine is helpful. Having a set bedtime is helpful. So just like with our kids, we tell them, hey, it's time for bed at X time. Maybe it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, whatever. That's their schedule. And if we kind of stick to our schedule or make a schedule for ourselves, I think that's equally as helpful. I've been doing a crossword puzzle from the little local paper. I get once every week, I think. And I try to fill a few squares on the crossword before I go to bed for 20 or 30 minutes. Instead of looking at a phone, instead of watching TV or reading a book. That's another good option. But doing something off of a device, like I always bitch and complain about, is much better for when you want to fall asleep. So I hope I'm not rambling here. I kind of feel like I am, but oh well, whatever. All right, next one. How many of these do we have to go through here? Holy shit. Oh, we're almost done. Almost done, promise. And then I'll go through a couple of mine, and then we'll close out today. This person says deep stretching right before bed or right when waking up makes a world of difference. Man, we're not getting any younger. We're just getting older and stiffer and older. So yeah, I would say that this would be a great routine if you could do it. Just a little hamstring stretch, little calf stretch, little quad stretch before you go to bed. Stretch out your arms a little bit, twist your back a little bit. It might be really helpful if it's for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. It's something, honestly, we can do after we wake up. You turn the news on, drinking your coffee in the morning, do a little stretching. it's gonna help. According to Captain Obvious 1906, it makes a world of difference. So yeah, I would agree. I work out all the time and I hardly do any stretching. So don't ask me why. I think it's just a time thing. I feel like I just need to keep going and I'm not going to sit down and stretch, and I really should. So solid. All right. And the last one that someone has posted here, Kira Smile. I don't know who that is on the Chive, but thank you. It's drinking 1 cup of water for every 2 alcoholic beverages. I keep a bottle of water on my bedside before I go to bed, and when I wake up to go to the bathroom, I chug as much as I can before I pass back out. Ends up with a far less hangover. Cool. That's great advice there. Yes, drink water. You should be drinking water. It's a problem that a lot of people have when you're out drinking and partying and having fun is you drink after drink and you never substitute with any water. And then we get home and we're panicked, and then we chug water with 5 Advil, and then what? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Fight the hangover. B, don't drink too much. So anyways, those are just some examples from the Chive article. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple things. But that's what this is all about. This is about basic, easy, little life hacks that we can do to help ourselves. So moving the alarm clock, chugging some water so you don't get hungover. I drink water in the morning anyways, every morning, 8 ounces. Rain or shine, doesn't matter if I drank or not. Just drink it. It's a good routine to be in. So anyways, a couple of mine that I have, I just listed a few here. Just some other ones I've been thinking about. First one, on vacation. Say you go on vacation, you're getting to VRBO or doing something like that, and your kids use sound machines. Well, what happens when you forget your sound machine? You're like, oh shoot, my kids aren't going to sleep. Well, if your rental is like the many that my wife and I have had, it is old, right? It's not bad, it's just older, and there's typically one of those old digital clock radios sitting around somewhere, right? Well, just turn it on, turn the dial to a staticky station, and boom, you have a white noise machine. So there you go. Next one I have, in the calendar app on your phone, create a shared calendar with your spouse. This is a game changer for me. I didn't have this for years and years and years until about last year, and a buddy of mine, my good buddy Steve, told me about it. And so I set one up between my wife and I. And this just makes planning and scheduling everything within our family, doctor's appointments and kids' schedules and everything, hands down, so much easier to do. And I honestly can't imagine how I did it without before. I guess I was just asking my wife every doctor appointment, saying, hey, when is the dentist? Hey, when is the doctor? Hey, when is soccer practice? And probably irritating the hell out of her if you want to refer to the episode from a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, shared calendar. You can share it with anyone you want. It's in the calendar creation thing. So you could share it with your nanny. You could share it with your wife. You could share it with your buddy, whatever. And put appointments on there, and then it goes on both your phones. It's awesome. It's a game changer. All right, next one. Do a weekly food menu for your dinners, with your family dinners. We try to do this every week, but of course we fail sometimes. But when we're on point and we're making a weekly food list, a menu of everything we're going to eat from Monday to Sunday, the week goes so much smoother with cooking meals and planning for dinners and all that stuff. It takes all the guessing out of the day, and it prevents my wife and I from shooting from the hip and digging through the freezer or running off to the store every damn time we need to figure something out. And also, it saves money. So it's a game changer too. It really, really helps if you can just list out on a marker board or a sketch pad, and it says, what are you doing for dinner on Monday? And you put spaghetti, and then Tuesday you put grilled chicken, and Wednesday you put fish, and whatever it is, with your vegetables and your sides and all that stuff on there. And then you can go to the grocery store and buy all that stuff, and you're ready to go. And a lot of times, if you do a food list and then you dig around in your house and your pantry and your freezers and stuff, you're going to find out you have a bunch of the stuff to make what you want to make anyways, and then it eliminates going to the store and just blowing money on stuff you don't necessarily need. So yes, you save money, you save time, and you reduce stress. It's perfect. Next one is kind of a funny one. Freeze grapes for a snack. Have you ever had frozen grapes? My buddy blew my mind. He went to a vacation somewhere in the Bahamas or something, and they served him frozen grapes. And he said it was amazing. So, of course, I tried it, and it's like eating freaking dessert, eating ice cream. It's awesome. Granted, now for your kids, you might want to cut them in half because, grapes are a serious choke hazard, but my kids love frozen grapes. So it's a lot better for you than ice cream. It's a lot better for you than cookies or any of that other garbage that we tend to feed our kids for a dessert. My kids will eat frozen grapes. It's awesome. All right, next one. Speaking of food, give yourself barriers of entry. Is that how you say that? Barriers of entry? Barriers to enter? You know what I mean? Anyways, with food and snacks and stuff, put those things that you know you have a problem eating. With me, sometimes it's red vines and chocolate chip cookies. Put them somewhere it's hard to get to. Put them in the freezer in your basement. So you literally have to get up and walk down to the basement and walk through here and dig through a freezer down there in order to find this stuff. Or put them up on a high shelf that you have to get a stool out to get to. Or put them in a certain kind of container that I don't want to say is difficult to open, but it just adds another layer to get to what you want. All that stuff will kind of help you stay on the straight and narrow. Even say deleting your credit card out of popular shipping apps. Delete your credit card off of Amazon. It makes it harder for you to buy just random shit, right? When you can typically just click on the thing and ship it and whatever, it's very easy. So if you take your credit card out, maybe take your address out, and then you have to manually punch that stuff in every single time, it might prevent you from making those silly purchases or buying stuff you don't really need. Also, they say put something in your cart, throw it in your cart, let it sit there for a few days, see if you really want it. That's also another one too. Just put up some barriers, make it an inconvenience to do that thing, and it will kind of curb your habit of doing that. Talk about social media. I talk about social media a lot. Maybe take those social media apps off of your phone and only use them on a desktop computer. So it's a lot more difficult to drag up your office chair, turn on your computer, and then go surf Instagram on a computer than it is on your phone, right? So just some of those things you can kind of play around with and try to curb your usage on. Oh my gosh, I hear these kids stomping and pounding. They all decided to come in the house. Now it's just crazy. They're just crazy. It's like pre-K, kindergarten, second grader, third grader, fourth grader. Like and a fifth grader. Busy house. Many children. Anyways, back on track. Last one I have here is make a to-do chart for yourself and for your kids. I just did this for my kids for summer break, and granted, I'm only on day 1 of this chart, but my kids are following it a lot better than I thought. I'm impressed. I'm super impressed. It's day 1, I know, but I'm impressed. Usually they'll wake up on a weekend, they'll come downstairs still in their pajamas, they'll flop on the couch, they'll watch TV, and they'll wait for my wife and I to either cook them breakfast or get them something to eat. Well, today, they were already dressed, their beds were made, and I think their hair was brushed by the time I came out of my room. I was blown away. I'm like, what in the hell's going on here? This is awesome. So it's working so far. Day 1, yeah, it's working. Then I get downstairs, and they come downstairs with me, and then they start getting their own stuff out to make their own breakfast. It's just, I'm blown away. It's just self-sufficiency at its finest right now, and it's working. It's great. I love it. So hopefully it sticks. Hopefully it stays that way. But I really do think that having a schedule, having something tangible that they can read and see every day is going to help them be self-sufficient like what we want. So that's the idea anyways. That's the plan. Hopefully we all stick to it. But so far, day 1 is good. I'm actually working on making a notepad style of this, and I'm going to go through Amazon and all that stuff to sell it. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be something that hopefully I can get on Amazon and sell a few of them so parents can get them for their kids and they can go through this checklist, all these super basic things, right? Just basic list of stuff. And then maybe at the bottom have some sort of reward if they do all their things for that day or that week or whatever. And then give them a little token of something for doing a great job. So that's the idea. I'll let you guys know if I ever do get that posted up on Amazon as a thing you can buy. But yeah, that's my plan. That's my little side hustle I'm going to work on here in the next few weeks. But yeah, I'll let you know. Anyways, yes, just a few things, a few quote-unquote life hacks that we can all use. Just simple things that we can use to make our life a little bit better, make our kids' lives a little easier, and definitely us parents' lives a little bit easier. So if I missed anything, please send me a message, send me an email or something. Let me know. You're like, hey, I got a great life hack for you or whatever. Just let me know. But anyways, that's all I have for today's episode of Stay at Home Dads podcast. I hope you liked that. I hope you liked just some easy, lighthearted content, nothing too serious and nothing too crazy. So if you did, please let me know. Like I said, if you have any of those other hacks, I don't really like to call them that, but that's what everyone calls them anymore. If you have any of those tips or hacks or anything, send me an email over at podme.com. You can drop me a message, or at Instagram, on Instagram at stayhomedads_podcast, and let me know. I'd love to hear from you, hear what super basic, super simple thing that you changed in your life that made things a lot easier for you, for your wife, for your kids, for whatever. So please shoot a message over to me and let me know. All right. Thank you for listening. Thanks again for downloading. I will talk to you next week.